Welcome back to Make Money Online channel, and today we're going to look at XRP prediction breakout as a result of its new flag pattern observed on its most recent chart trend. Can it really happen? And if so, when should we expect it? We'll also take a candid look at the latest XRP news. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos like this one. So, XRP has taken on a new shape in its trend analysis. Its price has been quite dramatic over recent times. First looking like it would go nowhere, and then getting hoisted on surprising runs to higher price levels. On many occasions it's looked as if it would rise up to $1, but would just fall short of it. And of course, having a lawsuit on its back doesn't really help matters, and worse than that, we're seeing massive sell-offs by investors and huge dumps by Ripple co-founder Jed McCaleb, who just keeps dumping millions of XRP periodically. And the price has sustained itself about the $0.50 mark, and it will need to avoid a fall through the 0.5536 pivot level to bring the first major resistance level at 0.5925 into play. FX Empire reported that support from the broader market would be needed, and that would be for Ripple's XRP to break out from above the high of 0.58151. Now, barring an extended crypto rally, the first major resistance level and resistance at $0.6 would likely cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, Ripple's XRP could test resistance at the 0.65 mark before any pullback. Well, the second major resistance level sits at 0.6204. Now, failure to avoid a fall through the 0.5536 pivot would bring the 23.6% Fibonacci of 0.5320 and the first major support level at 0.5256 into play. Now, barring an extended sell-off, however, Ripple's XRP should steer clear of sub-0.5 levels. The second major support level sits at 0.4868. Now, reversing a 0.54% fall, that's just over 0.5% fall, Ripple's XRP ended at 0.56451. And tracking the broader market, Ripple's XRP fell to an intraday low of 0.51469 before finding support there. Now, falling through the 23.6% Fibonacci mark of 0.5320, Ripple's XRP came within range of the first major support level at 0.5144. Well, in a rally, however, it saw Ripple's XRP strike a midday intraday high of 0.58151. Now, Ripple's XRP broke through the first major resistance level at 0.5547 and the second major level at 0.5775. More significantly, Ripple's XRP broke back through the 23.6 fib. A pullback saw Ripple's XRP fall back through the major resistance levels before a late rally back up to 0.57 levels. Well, Ripple's XRP broke back through the first major resistance level to end the day at 0.56. Well, the second major resistance level at 0.5775 capped the upside late in the day. And at the time of writing, Ripple's XRP was down by 0.23% to 0.56320, 0.5632. A mixed start to the day saw Ripple's XRP rise to an early morning high of 0.5683 before falling to a low of 0.5632. Well, Ripple's XRP left the major support and resistance levels untested early on. Now, Ripple's XRP will need to avoid a fall through the 0.4360 pivot level to bring the first major resistance level at 0.4917 into play. Well, support from the broader market would indeed be needed, however, for Ripple's XRP to break out from February 18th's high of 0.4815. Now, barring another extended crypto rally, the first major resistance level and resistance at $0.5 would likely cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, Ripple's XRP could see the second major resistance level at 0.5373 and resistance at the 62% Fibonacci at 0.5522. Well, failure to avoid a fall through the failure to avoid a fall through the 0.4369 pivot would bring about the 38.2% fib at 0.4070 and the first major support level at 0.3905 into play. Now, barring an extended crypto sell-off, Ripple's XRP should steer clear of sub 0.35 levels, so we hope. The second major support level sits at 0.3347. Now, in an article by CoinGape, Ripple has sustained the price above 0.5, that's half a dollar, for a couple of days now, and the need for stability came after rejection from the most recent high of 0.65. Well, XRP tumbled from this level to the support provided at the 0.48 mark. And meanwhile, the recovery that ensued has been limited to just under the 0.6 mark, 0.6 of a dollar. XRP has been declining within the confines of a descending channel, likely to confirm a bull flag. Now, this pattern is referred to as a bullish continuation pattern in technical analysis. It develops after an extended upward move followed by a correction. Now, the correction signifies consolidation as a selling opportunity to take over control. A significant breakout in the direction of the previous trend is anticipated as the bull flag matures. And typically, a breakout is supposed to occur when the price drops to about halfway down the flagpole. So, as for Ripple, it's teetering at 0.52 at the time of speaking. The current battle is to break and settle above the middle layer of that flag pattern. However, pushing for a breakout above the bull flag will result in massive gains above the stubborn resistance at 0.65 and towards potentially the 0.75 mark, the yearly high. Now, it is worth noting that sellers are still dominant at this time. The moving average convergence divergence, the MACD, reinforces the apparent control by the sellers. Now, they're likely to remain in control until the MACD line, the blue one, crosses above the signal line. And besides, other hurdles like the 50 simple moving average, the 50 SMA, on the 4-hour chart must come down for the breakout to materialise. Now, as reported by You Today, the SEC filed an amended version of its landmark lawsuit against Ripple on February the 18th, adding factual details about how its higher-ups manipulated the XRP market with the company's sales and personally profited from selling the controversial token. Now, the first preliminary conference in the case has been scheduled to happen on February the 22nd. So, in this updated chart, we're looking at the recent events which led to the established formational structure. And what we can look forward to, XRP USD was observed to have moved on to develop waves within the descending channel and bounce to a height which was very important to finally form a structure that positions it for a potential breakout. Now, looking at the chart, we can watch there how XRP USD recently formed the breakout above the upper boundary and closed there. And this was an initially really good sign. And besides, XRP USD seems to be about to develop this conformational bull flag in the structure that can possibly lead to further continuations. In this case, it is possible that XRP USD somewhat moves below the lower boundary to extend it. However, it's important that the XRP USD doesn't fall into the channel again and below the 400 EMA, because this may raise the bearish pressure and visiting of lower levels. And so it's necessary that XRP USD stabilizes sustainability above these very levels. So, taking all these factors into consideration, XRP USD has formed this great breakout, and now it's the time to fully validate it with the right price actions, as suggested before this final direction can be assessed. So, when XRP USD manages to form the proper price actions, this will activate the preliminary upside target marked in the chart in orange, and when XRP USD reaches these zones, it has to be elevated how it proceeds from there. And if there comes a continuation or XRP USD firstly reverses, which is also not unlikely in this case. So only when XRP USD manages a strong stabilization, further a continuation can be indicated. Before that, bearish pullback should also be taken into account. So in this chart, we're looking at the hourly time frame. So the recent events, the established formational structure, and what we can expect in the upcoming time. XRP USD has shown up with some very interesting price actions and validations, as it not only completed the wedge formation, but also shown up with fundamental volatility in the structure. When looking at the chart, we can watch how XRP USD just recently completed this major inverse head and shoulder formation marked with the blue neckline in this chart. So XRP USD managed to break out above the upper boundary with the strong volatility and close there. And what's also important here is that XRP USD marked above the 160, the 160 EMA in red and above the 120 EMA in green, which both are serving as strong supports within this structure. Also, really important here is the point of control by the volume profile, in which XRP USD has some really solid supports, likely to bounce to the upside when moving into. And this is why a continuation is likely when XRP USD stabilizes further within this zone to set up on this. So, taking all these factors into consideration, XRP USD is in a situation where it's completed a great formation that also activated already upside targets, which are likely to be reached when XRP USD manages to build upon this and continue its bullishness. Now, these targets are marked in the chart in orange. XRP USD has also significant resistance in this zone, and that means that it needs to be elevated. How XRP USD continues further from there, as an initial pullback visiting lower levels is more likely than this should not be, and don't underestimate this, especially when XRP USD approaches these resistance levels. So on a midterm basis, XRP USD definitely needs to stabilize further within the volume profile range and not fall below it anew. So the price level of XRP still lies around the 0.5 to the 0.62 mark, 0.62 of a dollar. And analysts predict that the price of XRP will reach about 0.8 of a dollar before the end of February, irrespective of the lawsuit. That's interesting. So this could represent an increase of around 50% on its current price of about 0.52 per XRP. Ripple XRP's prospects in 2021 aren't limited just to the turnout of the lawsuit, although a win is one really happy outcome that Ripple investors can look forward to in the coming weeks. Now, this chart projects a possible price trend of XRP for the coming months. The current price trend lies ideally just below the surface of the first resistance, established at the 0.68 mark. And it is set on a trajectory that aims for price levels from 0.85 to $1.70 before meeting a new resistance indicated by the small red rectangle at 2.36, $2.36. Now, further movements will probably see the coin rise as high as $13, maybe. The red line represents the high trend lines, and a break above would probably be very quick. Now, the resistance levels are based on previous Fibonacci levels where XRP has hit in the past. Now, ideally, we hit all of these levels in the next 10 months. But again, we can't say for sure. Of course we don't. But there you go, and I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, you do well to give us a thumbs up. We do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. So you'll get updates whenever we post a new video. Now, what other crypto news do you want us to address? Let us know in the comments. Give us your answers. Put them in the comment section below. We do read them. We do enjoy reading them. And whilst you're here, go ahead and click one of the other videos on your screen. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.
That's how it goes. Hollywood Carson.